Okay, solving equations with variables on each side. This is lesson 2-4. And yes, I decided to get a little festive and in the spirit of the season. So this is a pumpkin theme today, guys. Rex, I think, said it was getting pretty boring. So here I'm trying to give you jazz it up a little bit, Rex. Hope you enjoy it. Okay. Uh, on a serious note, though, so we're going to have variables on both sides of the equation. So we might have 2x over here plus 7 equals, 5, negative 5x minus 25 on this side. So we're going to have, on the equal sign, we're going to have a variable over here and a variable over here. We've done that before, and but this will be just a little more complicated, and a review of those practices. So we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to learn how to solve equations with the variable on each side, and then we're also going to solve equations that involve grouping symbols. So what are grouping symbols? Grouping symbols are stop that. Sorry. Are parentheses or brackets, grouping symbols. Okay. New vocabulary, the word is, did you lose it in the pictures? Yeah, is identity. And an identity solution is when everything that if we had a problem like 2x plus 10 is the same as x plus 5. And if the solution is the same for both of them, then that's an identity set. So an identity is an equation that all numbers solve the equation. Every number makes the equation true. Okay, that's an identity. Okay, let's try this. Solve an equation with variables on both sides. So the first step is always to take your problem and rewrite it on your paper. 2 plus 5k is equal to 3k minus 6. So that's our first step, write our solution. Your second step is to get your like terms together. That means we're going to have everything with a variable, all terms with variables on one side, right? And all terms with just numbers on other side, okay? That's our goal here. We're going to put all our like terms together. That means all the variables on one side, all the numbers on the other. So that means in this case we have 5k and 3k, and they're on opposite sides of the equation. So we want to put them on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3k from both sides. Could I have subtracted 5k and moved it over here? Yes, I could have, but it would have left me a negative number. So I try and avoid those when I can. So here that leaves me with 2 plus 5k minus 3k is 2k equals, what do we have left? Negative 6. And then I need to put my whole numbers together. I have a 2 and I have the negative 6. So I'm going to move the 2 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2, and I have 2k equals negative 8. Negative 6 plus a negative 2 is negative 8. Now I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, and I find out that k equals negative 4. Now just to show you really quickly, I could have started with 2 plus 5k equals 3k minus 6, and look what happens if I had subtracted the 5k. I will come out with the same answer. 2 equals negative 2k minus 6, right? Now I add 6 to both sides, and I get negative 2k equals 8. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, find out that k equals a negative 4. So either way, my answer is k equals negative 4. And of course, you could check your answer by putting the value for k into the original equation. Here's some practice problems for you guys. There are 4 of them. Please do these. That'd be great. This is a fairly short lesson, so I have a few extra practice problems. I want you to get good practice in. Some of them you'll notice use decimals, and some of them use fractions. So just go carefully, step by step, and think it through. You can do this. Okay, grouping symbols. If an equation contains grouping symbols, such as parentheses or brackets, you're going to use, stop it. You're going to use the distributive property first to remove all grouping symbols, okay? So that's going to be your very first thing to do, is to get rid of the grouping symbols, all right? All right. Believe it or not, this is made out of a pumpkin. That's a hoot, isn't it? Okay, so anyway, never mind. Here we go. Here's our problem. 6 parentheses 5m minus 3 equals 1/3 parentheses 24m. Let me erase that. It looks a little weird. 24m plus 12. So the first thing I do is get rid of the grouping. Get rid of the grouping of the parentheses, right, guys? That's what I'm going to do first. All right. So that means I have to distribute. All right. 6 times 5m is 30m. And 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, right? Now, 1/3, let me write this one out, times 24m, right? Plus 1/3 times 12, okay? So when you have the fractions, you might be more comfortable writing out the distribution. Here, the first, on the right side here, or excuse me, on the left side, we went ahead and did that in our head. But on this right side here, let's go ahead and break that down into the distributive property. So 30m minus 18, we aren't going to do anything. Now 1/3 times 24. That's the same as 1/3 times 24 over 1. Cross reduce 1 and 8. So that is 8m plus 1/3 times 12 over 1. Cross reduce 1 and 4 plus 4. Now I combine my like terms. I'm going to get the variables all on one side. So I'm going to go minus 8m minus 8m. Those cancel out. That leaves me 4 over here. 30 minus 8m is, just kidding, 30 minus 8m is 22m minus 18. Now I need to move my 18 over with my other whole number. So I'm going to add 18 to both sides. And I get 22m equals 22. Divide by 22, divide by 22, and m equals 1. Okay? And to check that, you would go back and put 1 into the original equation. Here's some guided practice for you guys. There are 2 problems. Good luck with these. Pause the video, get them done, and then move on to the next thing, and then start it back up. Okay. All right. Some equations have no solution, and that is that there is no value for the variable that will make a statement, an equation true. So we've sort of done this a little bit with expressions, but this is true for variables. There is no solution for the equation, okay? And that, of course, as you might recall, we represent something like this, no solution. Some equations, everything is true. All values are true of the variables, and this is called identity, or an identity equation. All right. Here we go. Let's look at these special kinds of equations. Here is A. It says 5x plus 5 equals 3 parentheses 5x minus 4 minus 10x. Okay? So we're not going to do anything with this side of the equation right now. Keep my equal signs lined up. Now I'm going to distribute 3 times 5x and 3 times negative 4. So 3 times 5x is 15x, and 3 times a negative 4 is a negative 12 minus 10x. My next step, I'm going to group all my like terms on this one side of the equation, on this side of the equation. So I have 15x and negative 10x. 15 plus a negative 10 is 5x. And what do we have left? And minus 12. Now, if I subtract 5x from both sides, those two cancel out on both sides. I have a statement that says 5 equals negative 12. Is that ever possible? Never. So that is no solution. All right, let's look at another example of a special situation. We have 3 times parentheses 2b minus 1 minus 7 equals 6b minus 10. Okay, let's distribute. 3 times 2 is 6b, and 3 times negative 1 is minus 3. Minus 7 equals 6b, oops, sorry, 6b, b minus 10. Negative 3 and a negative 7 makes negative 10, so we have 6b minus 10 over here equals to 6b minus 10 over here. We have identity equations, and our answer is that every number we put in for b, right, we're going to go minus a plus 10. Watch, I'll run this one out. Right, we get 6b equals 6b, divide by 6, divide by 6. You can see that b equals b. Therefore, any number would work. If I put 5 in here and the 5 would go over there, both statements would always be true. So any number I put in, if I put in a 10, it would work. If I put in a 5,000, it would work. So that's an identity. Here are a couple of these special situations. I want you to work these all the way through and see which is which. So to review, the steps for solving an equation can be summarized as this. And you might want to write these down very carefully and legibly to refer to as you do your homework tomorrow. So your first step, step 1, is to simplify the expressions on each side and use the distributive property if you have parentheses or brackets. Step 2 is to add or subtract equalities, get the variables on one side and the numbers without the variables on the other side, and then simplify. And step 3, then you'll multiply or divide to solve. Okay, we're going to write an equation, and I'm going to try and move this. Here, let me see if I can. Over a little bit. Get him smaller. Okay, there we go. Okay. We're going to write an equation. We're going to find the value of x so the figures have the same area. So we're going to figure out the equation, and then we're going to decide if the answer is A, B, C, or D. All right? So if we look at this, the area of the first rectangle, right? Oops. Area of a rectangle is what? Oh, stop. Sorry, guys. The area of a rectangle is the length times the width, isn't it? So the area of rectangle number 1, or let's not call it 1, let's call it T and W, okay? The area of rectangle T is 10 times x, or 10x, right? And the area of the other one is the width, which is the length times the width, and the width is 6, and the length, this whole distance, is 3 plus some number. We don't know what it is, but that is the length over here. So this is the width, and this is the length, all right? So we have 10x equals 6 parentheses 3 plus x. So now we have a formula or an equation that we can work with. 10x equals 6 parentheses 3 plus x. Then we have to decide which of these answers, A, B, C, or D, are going to work for this equation. So we'll start with the beginning. So here's our equation, 10x equals 6 parentheses 3 plus x. I'm going to move this a little bit down to the middle of the page. And you'll see that if we substitute in, so the A answer was 3, do you remember? And if I put an A, I put a 3 where the x is. I like the yellow better, right? Then we'll see if this works. Well, if I put a 3 in here, does 3 work? Does 30 equal 3 plus 3 is 6 times 6 is 36? So A is not an answer, right? So then I go to B, and the answer that was B, as you'll recall, was 4.5. So now we'll put in 4.5 where the x is, right? And here where the x is. Solve it, and does 45 times 6 times 7.5 equal 45? Yes, it does. So in that case, we know the answer is B. But you have to check, but you don't have to check C and D because you already found the right answer. Okay? Here is a guided practice multiple choice problem for you. It's exactly the same. You have to figure out, but this time, instead of the area, you're going to figure out the perimeter. You're going to figure out the perimeter. What's the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, guys? Okay, good luck with it. We'll work it on the board tomorrow. Who's going to come up and do it? Maybe anybody who does this problem gets it as a bonus on the homework. Anybody who gets this problem correct.